Hello and welcome to the Postcard of the Week. This is the 24th week of 2019, Monday, June 10th through Sunday, June 16th. For this week's Postcard of the Week, we'll be reviewing The Last Man by Hans Bohrdt. This is a 1915 postcard representing the Falkland Islands battle that happened in December of 1914. This postcard was purchased on eBay from Global History, and it was under the category of collectibles, postcards, and militaria. The seller was from the Netherlands. I bought from him before. He's a real good seller. Purchase price was $15 US, $3 shipping handling. Now, the significance of this postcard. It is one of the most well-known postcards from the war representing the propaganda that occurred as a result of this naval battle. Here it is a sailor who was on the SMS Nürnburg, a light cruiser that was sunk during the battle, and instead of becoming captured, he decides to go down with the ship, singing Deutschland, Deutschland, du bist alles, as the image portrays. Now, the significance of this and its general history is this is the defeat of the German East Asian Squadron under Vice Admiral Maximilian von Spee. This squadron was initially in Asia, charged with protecting the German Asian colonies. But when the war broke out, one of the British goals was to seize up the coal supplies for the Germans, and it seized these coal refilling stations in Asia, preventing the German East Asian Squadron from refueling. So it forced Admiral Spree's hand, and he had to make a decision either try to return to Germany or to seek shelter elsewhere. He chose South America, and for him it was probably a smart move because it were ports of call that were friendly to Germany, neutral. It had a lot of German population and some German settlements in the area. So, and also being in South America during December, a little bit better climate than what they would have, obviously, in the North Atlantic during December. Now, when he went down there, he went to refill and unexpectedly ran into the British fleet at the Battle of Coronel. During that battle, he was able to sink two British armored cruisers, the HMS Good Hope and the HMS Manus. And this, for the British, was a catastrophic defeat, a very significant major blow to the British. They had not had a naval defeat in well over 100 years. Okay, so if we look here, we look at the battle itself. This is the Battle of Coronel, which is a precursor to the Battle of the Falkland Islands. The British had two armored cruisers, a light cruiser, and auxiliary cruiser, and the Germans had two armored cruisers and three light cruisers. They sunk the two armored cruisers and resulted in a catastrophic loss to the British of just under 1,700 men, and of course the two armored cruisers. Only 3 Germans were wounded during the campaign. Okay, the British was under the command of Sir Christopher Cradock and obviously Vice Admiral von Spee for the Germans. Now, here you've got a good image of both the Rear Admiral Cradock and Vice Admiral Maximilian von Spee. And you also have a good image of the layout of the battle. Here's the German fleet, the Nuremberg, the Dresden, their main 2 armored cruisers, and Leipzig, which is another light destroyer. You have the British ships, and here's where the British lost the Good Hope and the Mammoth during this battle. Now, the Battle of Falkland Islands, you have this artist rendition of one of the German ships sinking. You had 10 killed on the British side and catastrophic loss to the Germans. just under 1,900 killed, over 200 were captured, and they lost 2 of their armored cruisers and 2 of their light cruisers. One of the light cruisers was supposedly the ship of the sailor. That was the SMS Nürnburg. So apparently he was from the SMS Nürnburg, which was a light cruiser. And that's where he came from. And that ship is actually here. And this is a picture of that ship prior to it sinking, or prior to the First World War. Now, the painting, The Last Man, was done by this gentleman right here, Hans Bohrdt. And right here is a more blown up picture of him. He was a self-taught nautical artist who had favor with the Kaiser and actually gave the Kaiser lessons in art, and funded all of his projects and gave him a villa in a very upscale area of Berlin. And, The Last Man was probably his most popular painting. And the original is lost to history. All that is available are these postcards and reprints of the actual painting. And but it did represent a major propaganda for the Germans, as a commitment that the German people had towards the war. Now, the other things to talk about is this right here. This is on my War Portraits Facebook page. This is a real photo postcard, also representing the last man during this period. Here you've got the ship, you got some broken scaffolding, and the sailor kind of praying as he's going down with the ship, but he refuses to surrender. So just another representation of the propaganda during this period. Now, on YouTube, I'll put the links down below if you want to review some of these videos. This is on the Battle of Falkland Islands. This is 4 of 4, so it starts right after the Battle of Coronel. This is coming from a British side, but it's very interesting that it gives first-hand accounts, oral histories of some of the actual sailors that were there and witnessed this battle and partook in the battle. So on that aspect, it's really, really fascinating. So I strongly encourage you to watch that video. Also, on the Great War series, they do cover it in 2 different areas, the Battle of Falkland Islands and the death of Vice Admiral Maximilian von Spee. And then they give him his own video, more detailing his career and his involvement with the Imperial German Navy and his influence and impact on the First World War. So that's in there as well. One of the things that was helpful for me as a postcard collector is reference material. And I was able to find this postcard and some of the initial items for researching a little bit more in this book on page 311, and it's image 310. So this is Till the Boys Come Home, which is probably one of the better references for picture postcards of the First World War. And it's represented well with all the warring nations, not one side versus the other, because some of these will be, very British driven, very French driven, or very German driven, or very U.S. centric. But this does a very good job of representing all warring nations. So a definitely must have for anyone who's collecting World War I postcards. So I just wanted to talk to you about this postcard. It's interesting, and just keep this postcard of the week going. Thank you for watching, and have a good week.